we painted this railing when we first moved in, again, along with all the trim, kind of like a utility closet. So we keep a lot of our Costco items and our cleaning supplies, and we have this amazing battery organizer, which I highly recommend. It's so nice to just run up here and grab a battery, and we have some dead ones that we need to take to the appropriate place to get rid of them. These closet doors I actually spray painted when we first moved in. They were like a brown color. I didn't do a great job with my drop cloth, and that is a nice amount of spray paint all over the floor. It goes in the closet a bit. Anyways, my husband apparently has something that will take that off. We haven't done a ton. We did paint the trim for this window and get new blinds for it and hung those up. This was sort of my craft art station when we first moved in, and we only had one kid because one of the bedrooms was our office. But then obviously with the birth of our second, we had to move the office station up here, and now my craft station is in the basement. This is a really nice sit-stand desk that we really like. Again, Kijiji. This is a tiny, tiny, tiny little closet with tiny shelves, and I honestly, like, other than maybe records, I really don't know what the previous owner stored here, but it's a great craft cupboard. So it's really dark up here because even though there's a ceiling fan, there's no light on the ceiling fan, which is unfortunate. And I do every now and again check Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji to see if anyone's getting rid of a unit that has a light. We're not looking to like get fancy up here right now and do any major renos, so we have one lamp, and that's as good as it gets for now. We also don't have any bedside tables for this bed, so we have a chair, and this chair normally goes over there, and that's the bedside tables. That upholstered headboard we actually made before we lived here. It was on our bed, but our bed is now against a window, and I didn't want to block all that light, so we put it up here for this bed instead. It's an awkward space, and it has popcorn ceilings, which I do not like, and they are not fun to get rid of. There's like a built-in dresser over here, which I have some like extra towels and washcloths and stuff for guests, but we don't really use. And there's this little unit here too. It almost looks like you could put like a dartboard in there or something. But again, I painted this wall white as an accent wall, and my plan was to maybe do the drawers and stuff too, but it's not priority, so I'm not touching it. Right now, this is pretty much office, and then just a nice space people can have when they come to visit. This is the bathroom up here. I actually did redo this space when we first moved in because I thought it was gonna be decently cheap. We need to get a new toilet for here because this one doesn't run the best, but it does work. This unit is exactly the same unit that was here when we bought the house. I just painted everything white and put new knobs on, and then I actually painted the counter with special paint. I like super sanded it down, used this paint, sanded it a bunch, used a really special top coat, something to like protect it from water damage, and it's held up. We're going on like year 3, and for the last few months while our other bathroom was being done, this was used multiple times a day, and there is no sign of wear and tear or damage anywhere, so I'm really happy with it. We put this little towel hanger here, and we got a new faucet for here, and this was actually the mirror that was in our big bathroom downstairs, which was way too small for me, so there was, I think, an even smaller mirror up here. So we brought this one up here, and I painted it white, and then we put a new light above it, and then I added this little shelf and just a couple paintings, so like very basic. Painted the walls gray and the trim all white. This is like a weird little box that goes into our attic, but we use it for storage. Painted the doors white. This was a medicine cabinet that for the longest time we didn't use, but I now use it to store all of my nail stuff, which in the summer I tend not to do because I'm constantly working with my hands and chipping them. The only thing that I would want to do in this bathroom still at this point is that is just a regular outlet, so we do need to get a proper one for the bathroom. So the plan would be, if we had a third child and we didn't want the kids to share rooms, we could, my husband and I, make this our bedroom. If we did that, we did talk about extending this bathroom like out this way a bit and potentially even out here this way a little bit to make it a slightly bigger, and maybe even just put like a shower in it, not a bath, but just a shower, to have a full second bathroom up here. That may not happen in this house, like while we live here, slash maybe if we did have a third kid here, we would just make the kids share a room for a little bit because they're young enough that they don't really need that private space yet. For now, it is basically just a nice little spot for people to come and sleep and have their own bathroom when they stay here, and 99% of the time is the office slash room where my husband and son play their computer games. Okay, I have a rare moment where my kids are being quiet, so I'm going to film this last little bit, which just shows you the outside of our house. We just recently got a bunch of wood chips dropped off, so my husband's been busy filling up our beds with new wood chips. So this was a really small driveway when we first moved in, and we had to widen it to fit our vehicles in my husband's trailer. So that was one of the first things we did, as well as landscaped the whole front yard ourselves. So this is the garage. I'll show you more of the landscaping in a minute, but we're not really going to do much here. I initially wanted to get a new garage door, but my husband's trailer covers it all the time, and you never can see it from the road when his trailer's here. So I think all we're going to do is just remove the paint and repaint it, and maybe put new windows in, but even that, we might just leave it. Left the stairs as they were. This is how it was when we moved in, but all of this pathway here was actually interlock, and we replaced it with these stones, which are actually old pink stones, and we painted them gray. And then we put some pea gravel in between and around, and then this here was all grass. So that bed right there was pre-existing, but this was all grass. This walkway didn't exist. This was all grass. So we added in this walkway because when I come home, sometimes, I mean, I usually back in, but sometimes it's a lot easier to be able to pull stuff out of the trunk and just come up this way rather than trying to get between the two cars, or if there's the bikes there, things are in the way, or if it's snowy. Like, it's just nice to have two options. Yeah, so we made this walkway and we added in all of these solar lights, and around our two crabapple trees here, we also put in spotlights. So there's 3 on each tree. And then my husband dug trenches for all the wires and ran, because they're all solar. So you probably won't be able to see it on video. Maybe I can zoom in there. Oh, my little one's crying. That's where all the solar panels are. So we kind of hid them over there by our utility pole. These crabapple trees had not been pruned in a few years when we first moved in. So 2 years in a row now, my husband has pruned them, so they've really started to fill in more. They were pretty scraggly before. But the nice thing is we haven't actually had crab apples for the last 2 years because they make a mess and they're so hard to get off the vehicles. So this was all a wildflower garden when we moved in, and what we've done is my husband built this. I mentioned before, in our backyard it's really hard to get any good sunlight for growing plants, so we do a lot of our veggies out here, including our vines, and then we've left some wildflowers in just to split it up. And then over here, this is all new garden that we added in, and yeah, we're really big on kind of having an edible garden, so pretty much everything you see in this garden can be eaten. Our green onion is just ridiculous at this point, and I have so much inside. So there was one more hedge here, but it was so dead, so we pulled that out. And then under this window there was 3 more hedges, but they were also dead. So it did look nice. It was pretty symmetrical, but they were dead, so they were scraggly, so we had to get rid of them. This, what I'd like to do is maybe build like a little porch. Eventually, these stairs, we sort of redid them. They were actually even worse. Maybe if I go like this, it'll be easier to tell. Like, I'm always nervous when someone comes to our front door who's never been here before, because I'm like, please don't trip on our stairs. So I would like to fix those up. And so we haven't really done anything with this part yet, because eventually we would probably build the deck right over this whole section. I have found some plans for a new mailbox that I really like, that I will eventually build. And then once we've painted the outside of the house, I'm gonna get a new light for there. The house as it is right now is like a maroon color, and yep, that is chalk that my kids have drawn on the house. The plan is to go either like a very kind of sagey, foresty green. Maybe not, no, not a forest green, like almost like an army green, or a really dark gray, because we like the color of the shutters and the door that we did. And then you can see that there's a bit of a blue trim around the door, and it's the same color as our front door and back door. We would probably do those in navy, and same with the garage. But other than that, the front is pretty much done. Every year it's just doing the gardens and maintaining them. And the other thing that we did do, because when we moved into this house, there was actually no outside water access. So, which is a big problem for my husband's business, but also just annoying. And so we had to run a hose into our kitchen, which is just dirty and water gets everywhere. So my husband did put a tap here. Now he just needs to put one in the backyard as well, which will be really good. But yeah, that's the outside. Okay, I'm about to go to bed, but I just had this thought. I was just rewatching one of my videos, I was thinking, to a stranger, my house probably looks like a tornado went through it. I mean, well, no, it looks like that even to a non-stranger, because that's just how it looks. But I was thinking about this, and I'm like, you know, I feel like as a mom, I'm so hard on myself all the time, because I walk around my house and I see a million things that need to be done. And I literally do something called a brain dump, where I get everything out of my head onto paper, usually about once a week, of like all the things I need to get done or want to get done in that week. And it's a full list. I never complete it. I always bring stuff over from one week to the next. But what I was thinking about was, I don't really sit still very much. Between working and doing stuff with my kids and making meals and like even just doing basic cleaning, right? I'm busy. And then throw in the fact that we're trying to reno something in the house, and that it's been COVID and the kids have been home, and just regular life, like we want to still be able to go do fun things. Realized I'm really hard on myself. I'm never, it doesn't matter how many things I get crossed off on my to-do list, I'm still displeased that not everything is done. And I think at some point I have to just realize and accept that as a mom of young kids, it will never all get done. And that's okay. I would rather have a messy house if it meant that I was spending more time with my kids or doing things that make me happy or feel fulfilled, than have a super clean house but never do anything except for clean it. I think I have to really try hard to remember that and start to change this like belief that I have that it needs to all be perfect, because kids are messy. Kids play with stuff and don't put it away when they're really little. We make food. There's so many times that we cook dinner, and by the time dinner's done and the kids are done their routines and in bed, that we have no more energy. And we always say you should clean everything up before bed, because you don't want to start your next day like cleaning up last night's dinner and tidying the kitchen. But there are some nights that we're done. Like it's 9 p.m. We're sitting on the couch together for the first time all day, and we really just want to chill. And even lately, that doesn't even happen, especially since I went back to work part-time. We're like passing ships, my husband and I. Like the days I work, he's home with the kids, and then the days that I'm home with the kids, he's gone to work, because he's trying to get all of his work done now in less days. And I'm not home every day, so I can't do as much as I was doing while I was on mat leave. It's just a lot. So I feel like if you're a mom out there, please look at my house and know that I'm pretty sure this is normal. I'm pretty sure this is all okay. Actually, I don't even care if it's not okay. It's okay for me, and I want it to be okay for you, because life is messy and difficult, especially right now. I think my advice that I would share, that I'm going to try really hard to take myself, we do something called a house walkthrough. And we literally, when we moved in, we did it. And we've done it once since. But we literally go from corner to corner of the house. Like no room, no wall, no floor space left unturned. And we make a list for every single room of everything that needs to be done or that we want to do. And that's a way for us to track the projects that are either ongoing or should be done, and gets it out of our brain. So we don't have to worry about remembering it or thinking about it or anything like that. It's also really satisfying every few months to pull it out and go through it and be like, oh, this one's done, and like cross it out. And it's a really good feeling. Our kids are happy, our kids are healthy. This house is the shelter they need. Anything above and beyond that is just icing on the cake. I was just thinking, as I'm going around and showing you all the mess in my house and all of the to-dos and the wish lists and the plans and the visions, that's okay. I mean, it's great that we have them, and it's great that we have an understanding of what we want this house to look like, and whether or not we get all of that done before we move to a new house remains to be seen. But we will continue to chip away at it. And I think the biggest thing, and something we actually talked about this afternoon, was to stop taking on new projects. So even in like a perfect house that was done exactly the way we wanted, there's still all the other aspects of life that keep us so busy. I don't even think we would notice that we would have more time, because it would immediately get filled up with different things. So if you're like us and you're feeling stressed, I would super recommend just try to give yourself a break, because life is hard, and parenting is hard, and being a homeowner is hard, and working is hard, and everything is hard. But it's doable. Maybe not in the timelines we would always wish, but it is doable. And the important thing is to enjoy life, because you only get one shot at this. And do I want to spend my entire life renovating a house instead of traveling or making memories with my kids? No. That may mean that some of these projects that I really like don't get done. But what if I am lucky enough to live to 90? I don't think I'm going to look back at 90 and be like, man, really wish I'd redone that master closet in that master bedroom at that first house we ever owned. No. What I might think is, man, I wish instead of redoing that closet, we'd gone on that camping trip like we always said we would.